The strange school. Schools are usually quiet places. But today, I'm going to tell you about a school that wasn't like any other and utterly strange and eerie place. This is a true story that I am about to share with you. Before I begin, let me introduce myself. I am a private school teacher, and I have taught at many schools. This school was new for me. I had recently left my previous job to join it. On my first day, I noticed that the school felt unusually silent. I didn't mention anything to anyone and continued teaching. A few days later, I asked one of the senior teachers, "Doesn't this school feel strange to you?" He smiled and replied, "It doesn't just feel strange. It is strange." Then, he told me a story, one that still sends chills down my spine. This school was a beautiful institution, offering classes from nursery to 8th grade. It had 10 classrooms, an office, and a fully air-conditioned computer lab where students learned about technology. Outside the classrooms, there was a gallery filled with framed pictures, images of inventors, military leaders, and historical figures who had achieved great things. The school's owner was a volunteer for Dawati Islami, a religious organization. Often, Islamic preachers visited the school to collect donations or spread religious teachings. One evening, a preacher came to the school for religious work, but it got late. The school owner offered him a place to stay for the night, as it wasn't safe for him to travel back so late. The preacher agreed. Since it was summer, the city had frequent power outages. Electricity was expected to return at midnight. Until then, everyone stayed with the preacher to keep him company. At exactly 12 a.m., when the power came back, they turned on the air conditioning for him and left, telling him, "If you need anything, call us." They had no idea what the preacher was about to experience. The next morning, when they arrived at school, they found the preacher curled up in a corner, shaking with fear. His face was pale, and his body trembled violently. When they asked him what had happened, he struggled to speak. Then, in a terrified voice, he narrated the most horrifying experience of his life. "As soon as you all left, I decided to sleep early since I had to wake up for Fajr prayer. But just as I lay down, I heard a knock at the main gate of the school. I thought maybe you had returned for something, so I went to check. When I opened the door, there was no one there. I was confused but assumed it was just my imagination. I locked the door and went back to my room. But as soon as I lay down again, I heard the knock once more. I rushed to the door, convinced that someone was playing a prank on me. But when I opened it again, nothing. There was no one there. This time, fear began to creep in. I tried to calm myself, telling myself it was just the wind or my imagination. I returned to my room and locked the door, but this time the knocking came from inside the school. It wasn't the main gate anymore. It was the door to my room. My heart started pounding. I knew for a fact that no one else was in the building. Who or what was knocking? Summoning all my courage, I slowly approached the door. As I reached for the handle, I could feel my body trembling. I took a deep breath and pulled it open. What I saw made my blood run cold. The framed pictures in the gallery, those of generals, inventors, and historical figures, were no longer just pictures. The people in them, they had come to life. They stood before me, staring straight into my soul. Their eyes were hollow, their faces twisted with expressions I cannot describe. And then they spoke. "Come outside, we need to talk." My mind went blank with fear. I slammed the door shut and locked it. But before I could take a breath, the lock twisted on its own, and the door swung open. The figures stepped forward, their ghostly hands reaching for me. I wanted to scream, but no sound escaped my throat. Then, they grabbed me, dragging me into the hallway, whispering strange words that I couldn't understand. The last thing I remember was the world spinning around me before everything went dark. When I woke up, they were gone. I searched for my phone, but it had vanished. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed with fear. I spent the entire night sitting in a corner, waiting for the sun to rise. The moment daylight broke, I ran outside. That's when I found my phone lying on the ground in the schoolyard. I swear I will never stay in this school at night again. From that day onward, no one was allowed to spend the night in that school. This was a true story, and I hope you found it as chilling as I did. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll be back with more terrifying real-life tales.